This past year we saw a change with some of the programming that was available to our youth, and that was the Canada Summer Job Grant Program. And every organization who wanted to participate was required to sign an attestation. And so that Canada Summer Job Grant attestation, regardless of the beliefs of folks who wanted to participate in that program and employ their youth, required them to make sure that they aligned with a very tight box that the government wanted to put around them, so that it was about ideology and it wasn't about employment, and that it was about making sure that you complied with a rule that the government had put in place that had no bearing on the good and charitable work that these people were doing. Programs like that are tremendously important, and they shouldn't be politicized to meet the agenda of the government of the day. But I would say that when youth are employed and when they have the opportunities to give back and work for these charitable organizations, fantastic things happen, great behaviors are learned. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. Our next question is directed to Lorraine Reckmans and will be asked by Sue Watts.
Lorraine, should you be elected, what are your intentions regarding improving the state of our regional economy, specifically pertaining to small and medium-sized business?
Thank you. I just want to let you know that we have a policy proposal. It's in our platform that the Greens are committed to assessing every single piece of legislation that is passed to assess its impact on small business, and I think that's really important. When we recognize that small business is the engine that drives this country, it needs government attention. I am committed. One of the things that I really love about Canada is the civil society and a lot of the NGOs. And I think the vibrancy, not only working with small business owners in local community, but also working with non-governmental groups who are looking at the gaps that government is missing. So I'm committed to investing time in small business because that's where the innovation is going to come from. And as a member of a grassroots party, I see so much innovation at the ground level. I cannot get over how innovative, imaginative, and exciting Canadians are. And we have to invest. So, that's one of our commitments as the Greens, is to invest in small business. And it is about, if you remember, and I have to say, about the bread cartel, pulling back. And we had gone through this scandal where they were price fixing on bread. We're interested in security at the regional and local level. We're interested in building resiliency in communities so that they are secure and they're not left beholden to large corporations who are controlling all the food. So thank you.
Thank you, Lorraine. John, comments?
So the solution again is to let those businesses open an interest-free account at the Bank of Canada. Like PayPal. How many people know about PayPal? Imagine you could log on to the Bank of Canada's computer, kids, and you could open an account for your parents. And then you could cut checks to pay off all their mortgages and interest-bearing debts with this new Bank of Canada CHIPS account you're using. Well, now all the payments go against principal, and someday your parents are out of debt. So, if you can get an interest-free account at the Bank of Canada for your parents that would work like PayPal to get them out of debt, same would work for businesses. The businesses, if they're not paying any interest to the loan sharks, are going to be better off. It's obvious. So, save all the interest, and then come and tell me if you've got any complaints left.
Thank you, Jim. Mary Jean, your comments.
Small business is very much at the heart of our economy. We realize that more and more as the economy continues to evolve here in our region. And I'm glad the question asked about regions this region, because I do think we have to look at this regionally. One of the things we need to do is make sure we're talking to the business community. The St. Lawrence Corridor Economic Development Commission is a group of 7 municipalities and the business leaders in these communities that's standing up and saying, let's look for those leads, let's work together. I've also been out talking to the economic development officers in Leeds Grenville and Gananoque down in Prescott, and it is fascinating to hear the proposals that they have. We have to continue to work to keep the EODP in place. We have to continue to work with our businesses that are locally owned and operated to enable them to scale up. You have a Canarm, I see David Beatty here, Northern Cables. Those are the kind of businesses that are going to stick. Let's bring them here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Michelle, comments?
Thank you. So for small businesses in particular, we need to make sure that we're keeping their taxes low. And we also need, as much as we can, as I said, to lift people up from the bottom. When people do better, they have more money to spend, and they spend it locally. And that's something that will certainly boost our economy. Again, when I was talking about the concept of free tuition, that's a job creator as well, and that's another boost for the economy. People who go and improve themselves in post-secondary education, they come out and they earn more money, they pay more taxes, and in turn they actually create jobs themselves. So honestly, it's win-win, and it's something that we should be looking at doing nationally. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Michael, your comments.
So thank you very much. Participation and cooperation between the three levels of government are tremendously important, the municipalities, the province, and the federal government, so that we can ensure everyone's unlocking the full potential of programs that are available. But I want to go back to making sure that those businesses are competitive. And in touring local businesses, I visited Northern Cables, and I noticed that on the bulletin board in there, they've got their power bills there for the employees to see. And the power bill breakdown was something like $3,000 in electricity usage. And it was $7,000 in delivery charges. You know what? We're a rural area, you've got to pay those delivery charges. And then an additional $13,000 in global adjustment. And that's the result of inefficient and ineffective green energy policies, the likes of which are being proposed again for January 1st. These do nothing to help the environment and do everything to hurt small business and job creators. Thanks.
Thank you, Michael. Lorraine, closing comments on your question.
Okay, I want to talk about infrastructure investment. If you could imagine, if we decided we were going to move to a low carbon economy, we would require energy efficiency in every single home. And if the federal government makes transfers directly to municipalities for their infrastructure, it creates jobs, results in energy efficiency, carbon reduction, trade skills development, and jobs for youth. So, those relationships between the federal government and municipalities are so critical, and we know sometimes that we can't always work with the provinces. So there has to be a relationship and an investment in infrastructure directly at the municipal level.
Thank you. Our final question of the evening is to John Trimble and will be asked by Tom Steele.
John, as a rookie MP in the House of Commons, how will you ensure that you bring benefit to our riding once you are there?
Boy, would I shake the place up. How can full employment for youth, full employment for adults not change your lives? You're not going to have to pay as much tax to support unemployed people. You're not going to have to pay as much tax to support the criminals who are trying to get the money they don't have because they don't have jobs. This has been done so many times throughout history, and just recently. Every time you have a clash, Portugal, Russia, in the last 20 years, you can all go find this software. They talk about Lex, the first time bank software that all these crash communities all start up. I finance this software. That's why I'm so proud of it. It's my baby. And someday, I'm going to be famous because of this software. I know it. They're still talking about it now, 34 years after it came out in 1984. So, you think I don't get a real charge when I hear Crash the Economy? Oh, we're starting a community currency. And they talk about the Let's from Burnaby, Canada, the first one ever. Mine. So, there are so many alternate ways. Look at bus bucks. Do that and that'll work because even the stores and adults will take them. Time dollars in the time bank. Everybody needs babysitting. What happens is the mechanic starts taking 3 hours per hour. The dentist starts taking 10 hours per hour. Am I not the original guy with 2 minutes?
Yeah.
All right. Wow. And so basically a support network grows around these people. So I've suggested 3 or 4 different working alternatives that can be set up. And if they ever were, you would see a huge change in your living conditions. Johnny Engineer. Good engineering is what I'm promising.
Thank you, John. Mary Jean, comments?
I would bring benefit to our riding in the same way that I've committed myself as an advocate and a volunteer and a lawyer and a mother and a grandmother and a wife all these years. I would do it with my skills and my experience, with my heart. That's how I would do it. And I would also say to you that it is worth remembering that I would be on the government side should I be elected in this by-election. I have worked on the Hill. I've created the relationships that I need in order to get things done. I know the people, and I'm ready to go to work. So one would be the rookie MP, as you say, but truly, I would be starting with a real leg up, and it would be my pleasure to carry these priorities that we've been talking about tonight to Ottawa as your next member of Parliament. Let's remember that after 10 years of the Conservatives, there was a real move for change in 2015. We brought that change, and I want to bring that change right here to Leeds, Grenville, Thousand Islands, and Rideau Lakes in order that we can all share in the benefits of it. Thank you very much.
Michelle, what are your comments?
Thank you. I just want to start off by saying that if a government is being effective, I don't think you should have to have an MP from that government or from that party in your riding to see the full effects if that government is being effective. Myself, as a rookie MP in the House of Commons, I would say that it would be a combination of working with the great NDP team that's already there. We have MPs that are doing great advocacy work. Again, I had MP Alistair McGregor here just recently talking with the farmers in our area. So again, working with the existing NDP MPs and also listen and advocate. That would be my mission as your MP. I'm not here to tell you what the problems are. You're here to tell me what the problems are, and it would be my job to go to the House and make sure that those solutions are found and brought back to our riding. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Michael, comments?
Thank you very much. Over the past few weeks, I've had the opportunity to have about a dozen members of the Conservative caucus join me in the riding to meet with people on their doorsteps, to meet with small business and medium-sized business owners, and to have their concerns brought back to the House of Commons. And one thing I learned and I really will bring forward if elected is that listening and then advocating for what you've heard in Ottawa is the number one responsibility of our member of Parliament. And that became very clear to me when I became a municipal councillor. And the number one issue that would get me out of bed or get me out to someone's house is water draining across the property. That's the issue that people want advocated for. Hey, I'm happy to help. But when there's commitments that have been made by government and government is failing to deliver on them, this year they budgeted compensation for victims of thalidomide poisoning and have failed to deliver on it. Question asked, question answered in the House. I'd be there championing these causes for our residents.
Thank you, Michael. Maureen, comments?
Okay, I think the question was about being a rookie MP. I don't think I'm a rookie, I'm a grandmother. But I think, being in the House of Commons, I would be the second